with the top stories of the day. Understand the issues that matter. This is Manila Bulletin News on Web. Your quick rundown of top news in the country and around the world. Manila Bulletin, celebrating 120 years of timely stories and timeless truths. Be fully informed. Hi, I'm Barbie Atienza. This is MB Now, and here are your news on web. The police sergeant in the viral video on the cold-blooded murder of a mother and a son in Paniki town of Tarlac turned out to have already been slapped with two separate homicide cases last year. Philippine National Police Chief General Sinas said that two separate homicide charges were actually two of the 5 cases that were slapped against Police Senior Master Sergeant Jonel Nuesca since 2014 before the Internal Affairs Service. Among those that were dismissed, according to Sinas, were the homicide case that was filed in May 2019 and another homicide case in December also last year. The official said that 2 homicide cases were dismissed due to lack of evidence. Sinas said Nuesca is now under police custody and was already issued with automatic leave of absence that would cut him from receiving his monthly salary and allowances. Meanwhile, the Department of Justice will ensure that justice is served against a policeman for killing a woman and her son in Tarlac over the weekend. Justice Secretary Menardo Guevara assured that DOJ will closely monitor developments in the case and ensure that justice is done. The Commission on Human Rights has strongly condemned the killing and called on the government to put a stop to the culture of impunity in the country. The CHR appealed to the public to act with caution in circulating the video and protect the best interests of the child. A total of 10,000 policemen have been deployed to secure Metro Manila as the National Capital Region Police Office intensified its campaign to strictly implement measures against COVID-19 in the metropolis. NCRPO Director Police Brigadier General Vicente Danao said part of the intensified measures is a more strict security check for those entering at the border control points of Metro Manila from Bulacan, Rizal, Cavite, and Laguna. The strict security measures at the borders of Metro Manila, according to Danao, are complemented with aggressive anti-crime measures in all areas of the metropolis, especially those which have a history of being hiding places and operational areas of criminal elements. Criminal activities are always expected to rise during the Christmas season, and health experts have been warning that the complacency of the people during the holiday season may lead to a spike in COVID-19 cases, especially in Metro Manila. Cabinet Secretary Carlo Nograles labeled as fake news rumors circulating that Metro Manila will revert to the modified enhanced community quarantine for the holidays as the government's pandemic task force has yet to meet again. A co-chair of the Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases, Nograles explained that collegial body only makes their recommendations about quarantine classifications at the end of the month. According to the palace official, the IATF will meet after Christmas to decide on the quarantine classifications for January. However, despite the prevailing quarantine classifications for this month, Nograles said that the local government units are allowed to place certain areas in their jurisdiction under lockdown. Vice President and Opposition Leader Leni Robredo said the Duterte administration shuts down her suggestions on the coronavirus pandemic response but implements them later on. Robredo added that what the government doesn't realize is that when it is not open to suggestions from her office, it is the people who fall victims. She spoke particularly about the resumption of face-to-face classes in areas considered low risk for COVID-19. The dry run for the face-to-face classes is scheduled from January 11 to 23 next year. The Vice President said she spoke repeatedly with Department of Education officials at the regional, city, and provincial levels. They all agree that face-to-face classes can be conducted in areas with low or zero community transmissions. But Robredo said these officials cannot decide on their own without guidance from the national level, adding that those in far-flung areas will agree with her that face-to-face classes are possible. Robredo is a proponent of face-to-face classes in areas with low or zero transmission of COVID-19 to make sure that children are not deprived of education. She said students do not need to attend classes every day, but need to follow a schedule. In Metro News, 200 Navotas barangay health workers get 5,000 pesos cash aid. Manila drive-through and walk-in serology testing clinics closed until January 4. And Quezon City denies a shift to MECQ. More from this report.
Around 208 members of Barangay Health Emergency Response Teams in Navotas City each received a 5,000 pesos financial assistance in recognition of their service amid the COVID-19 pandemic. The Navotas City government allocated around 1.04 million for distribution birth members who have rendered at least 3 months of service under the City Ordinance number 2020-40. Meanwhile, the city government has also begun its distribution of Christmas ham to its residents. At least 22,738 out of 89,650 target family beneficiaries have already received their pamaskong handog from the city government as of December 18. The Manila City Government's drive-through COVID-19 serology testing centers as well as 3 of its walk-in serology testing centers will be closed until January 4, 2021. The drive-through serology testing facility at Quirino Grandstand and the walk-in serology testing facility at Hospital ng Tondo, Hospital ng Sampaloc, and Hospital ng Maynila Medical Center temporarily suspended their operations on December 18. However, the walk-in serology testing centers at Gas Andres Bonifacio, Memorial Medical Center, and Justice Jose Abad Santos General Hospital will remain open to the public. The testing centers use serology testing machines that process blood samples and has an accuracy rate of 99.6%. The Quezon City government denied rumors that it will revert to the stricter moderate enhanced community quarantine or MECQ. Quezon City Police District Chief Police Brigadier General Danilo Marcelin said checkpoints across the city were placed on as part of the implementation of the Interagency Task Force for Management of Emerging Infectious Disease protocols to curb COVID-19 spread during the holiday season. However, the city government reminded the public to observe the minimum health standards such as wearing face masks, face shields, maintaining social distancing, and washing of hands.
Here are the top news in other parts of the country. Bridges and roads in Cagayan, Isabela, and Quirino closed due to heavy rains. Bacolod City bars returning overseas Filipinos on Christmas and New Year. 6 dead in Caraga region due to tropical depression Vicky. Details in this report.
Continuous rains over the weekend resulted in heavy flooding anew in the Cagayan Valley region, shattering bridges in Cagayan, Isabela, and Quirino. According to authorities, as of Sunday, December 20, 12 bridges were closed in Cagayan, 10 in Isabela, and 3 in Quirino. 18 roads were also rendered impassable to all types of vehicles in Cagayan and 2 in Isabela. The Police Regional Office too remains on full alert in light of the persistent heavy rainfall affecting northern Luzon, resulting in the sudden rise of the water level in Magat Dam and causing the swelling of the Cagayan River. The city government of Bacolod has announced that it will temporarily stop accepting returning overseas Filipinos for the holidays. This after the Regional Interagency Task Force of Western Visayas approved its request for a 4-day moratorium on the repatriation of overseas Filipino workers on December 24, 25, and 31, 2020 and January 1, 2021. The Bacolod Emergency Operations Center also clarified that there was no lockdown in the city, contrary to the rumors circulating on social media. The temporary suspension on the repatriation of overseas Filipino workers was made to give time for the frontliners to rest and to give time for the city government to rehabilitate quarantine facilities. Relief operations shifted into high gear for 8,930 families or 36,059 individuals affected by Tropical Depression Vicky in northeastern Mindanao or the Caraga region. The Action Center and Regional Office of the Department of Social Welfare and Development said on Sunday afternoon that the affected families came from 151 barangays in the 34 municipalities and cities in the Caraga region. Meanwhile, unconfirmed reports reaching the police said 4 died in Surigao del Sur due to the flash floods, while 2 were killed in Agusan del Sur.
In world news, Thailand to test 10,000 after virus outbreak linked to a seafood market. U.S. top infectious disease official gives Santa virus vaccine. And Iceman sets immersion world record in France. Let's watch this.
More than 10,000 people will be tested for coronavirus disease after an outbreak linked to its biggest seafood market in Bangkok, Thailand, according to officials. Hundreds of infections have been linked to Maha Chai Market and Port since a 67-year-old prawn seller tested positive on Thursday. Most cases among immigrant workers from neighboring Myanmar who toil in the kingdom's multi-billion-dollar seafood industry. Authorities ordered Myanmar workers around the market not to leave their residences, and the testing would be free for migrant workers and continue until Wednesday. Santa Claus can safely deliver gifts to good girls and boys on Christmas after a special visitor went all the way to the North Pole to deliver a coronavirus vaccine. Anthony Fauci, the top infectious disease official in the United States, said Saturday he personally gave Old Saint Nick his jab. He also measured Santa's level of immunity and found out that Santa is good to go. Fauci's good news comes as countries around the world are experiencing a surge in COVID-19 cases, with millions in England and Italy preparing to celebrate the holiday under tough stay-at-home orders. A 34-year-old Frenchman sets a world record for sitting immersed in ice cubes for the longest time. Van den Dorp endured the extreme challenge to raise money for children with cancers. Van den Dorp is a health worker, remained buried up to his neck in ice in a plexiglass cabin for 2 hours, 35 minutes and 43 seconds, breaking the previous record by 40 minutes in the northern French town of Waterloo.
In entertainment, various celebrities expressed disgust over a policeman who shot and hit a mother and her son in Tarlac Sunday, December 20. Maine Mendoza asked on Twitter why must it end that way and that she doesn't know what to feel about it. TV personality Frankie Pangilinan, daughter of megastar Sharon Cuneta and Senator Francis Pangilinan, commented on Twitter, "Nakakalungkot, nakakagalit, mas lalo na dahil hindi na nakakagulat. Ano ang nangyayari sa Pilipinas? Gising na ba?" Actress Agot Isidro, on the other hand, commended PNP patay ng patay. Writer Juan Miguel Severo, singer Jed Madela, actor Alexander Diaz, host Bianca Gonzalez, and musician Kian Cipriano also joined Filipinos online calling for justice for the killing of Sonia Gregorio and her son, Frank Anthony Gregorio. In sports, the NBA takes a leap into the unknown on Tuesday when the 2020-2021 season tips off after the shortest offseason in history against the backdrop of a raging COVID-19 crisis across the United States. Around more than 2 months after the LA Lakers brought the curtain down on a grueling interrupted season, with victory in the NBA Finals, a shortened 72-game campaign gets underway with games in New York and Los Angeles. The new season marks the first time league action has taken place at home arenas since the 2019-2020 season was dramatically suspended in March as the coronavirus pandemic erupted across the U.S. The upcoming season will take place in 30 locations across the United States at a time when the country continues to set new records for coronavirus cases and fatalities. Manila Bulletin's Patawad bagged the Best Digital Ad Public Service in this year's Catholic Mass Media Awards, held virtually on Saturday. Patawad, or Sorry, was released on December 10, 2019, and it tells a story of a grandfather who is longing for his family, especially his son and grandson. Also given special citation during the CMMA Awards was Alvin Casiban's happy ending under the Best News Photograph category. Casiban's photo showed 67-year-old Antonio Leongson, a COVID-19 survivor who was given a standing ovation while being discharged from Navotas City Hospital after finally testing negative from the dreaded coronavirus disease 19 days since his confinement. Manila Bulletin's Kung Paano Maging Isang Ina was also a finalist for the Best Digital Ad Public Service. Likewise, Jansen Romero's Sad Day at Happy Land and Support from Frontliners were finalists under the Best News Photography category. A Global Prayer for the Coronavirus Pandemic by Paul Roca was a finalist for Best Editorial Cartoon. The 42nd CMMA has chosen 151 finalists from a total of 304 entries in different mass media categories. And those are the news on web today, December 21, 2020. It's 4 days before Christmas. For more news and details, get your copy of Manila Bulletin newspaper tomorrow or log on to www.mb.com.ph, or you may also subscribe to our newsletter through the link on this video's caption to have the day's latest news delivered to your inbox. I am Barbie Atienza for Manila Bulletin, celebrating 120 years of timely stories and timeless truths. Join us again tomorrow. This has been MB Now. Be fully informed.